Jessica is going to take you a little bit further, and we are going to show you how you actually experience destinations through gamification. And you'll see the current research we are doing on this area, because it's absolutely cutting edge, and there are actually very few destinations that they've done that, and we are developing some principles here. Jessica.
Hello everybody, my name is Jessica. Can you all hear me? Yeah? Hope so. Right. Although my supervisor Feifei has already talked about gaming a lot, I would like to give you a little introduction before I come to my topic, which is augmented reality gaming. I would like to give you a little introduction about gaming and the power of gaming. So we all know one, or when it's not ourselves, who's playing games and who's spending hours and hours of emerging into virtual worlds and forgetting about the time, forgetting about eating, forgetting about sleeping. And so these games have actually a big power. But it's not only kids who play, it's also adults who play. So 1/3 of adults, yeah, sitting in the front, Phil, 1/3 of adults are playing games. And this is why it's not surprising that the average age of a gamer is 23, and that 2 out of 5 gamers are actually female. So the global online gaming community is growing and growing and growing. So as we had in 2010, 500 million people worldwide playing games, we will reach 1.5 billion online gamers by 2016. So 1.5 billion in 2016. So the most keen playing nations is obviously China with 2 million gamers in the country, followed by the USA and Europe. And the monthly hours spent on games is 18 hours a week. 18 hours a week, which means that when all gamers sum up, it is 300 million hours a week we are actually spending on playing games, which is quite amazing, I found. As mobile games, games and as the technology develops, mobile games become more and more mobile, and we see that games are actually the killer apps in the industry. So the actual mobile gamer spends nearly 8 hours gaming, where the most keen gamers are the iPhone users, followed by the Android users with 9 hours a month. 9 hours a month, yeah. So where do we actually play games? We play them everywhere. We play them in bed, we play them in the bus, in the tube, while watching TV. We play them everywhere. So why are games so engaging? Games have the power to immerse people in unleashed emotions. So it's fun, they leisure disappointment, and they immerse people in actively role-playing, and they create a story around the game, and what they do is give the people challenges. So The ultimate experience of gameplay is called the Total Immersion. This is a stadium, it's a psychology stadium where the person actually feels immersed into the virtual world and forgets about time, forgets about hunger, forgets about everything, and virtually lives in the virtual world. So this is the concept why we always return into this into games and voluntarily play games all the time. So how can mobile games be used to enhance the tourist experience? This is where my studies come about, which is about augmented reality gaming in tourism. So augmented reality games combine both. They combine the technology of augmented reality within games. So these games enhance the real world with 3D objects and multimedia content, which is displayed in the real time on the mobile screen of the player. So the mobile player is going into a city and is playing on site, and while he is discovering the city, he is doing some challenges, and he is taking on a role and discovering the history of the city. So how this actually works within an urban city, I would like to show you a short video about it, which is about TripVenture, a Berlin-based company who already developed augmented reality games for several cities in Europe.
Every city tells stories and you can experience it. Let the TripVenture app be your guide and the key to the city's secrets. You'll see more than ever before. Meet mysterious characters. Solve riddles. Or find objects that will help you carry on. A museum becomes a crime scene. Phone booths, meeting places, and landmarks into sites of action. While playing, you'll learn everything about the real places and their history. Get exciting TripVenture stories on your mobile phone now. Enjoy Rockaracha with the whole family. Find the murderer with Inspector Tripton. Or search for an old friend in Secret City. And explore cities throughout Europe with TripVenture.
So you got a little insight how augmented reality actually works and how powerful they are. So they have the power to engage the people on site with storytelling, interactive role-playing, and therefore give more fun and enjoyment while you're playing and while you're discovering the city. But in the next example, which has been implemented into a German-based castle, which is called Wartburg. This is an example where augmented reality games are used to encourage younger children to learn more about the history of the castle. So they implemented the game and wanted to make it more motivating for the kids, wanted to encourage active participation in the history, and the little children went around with their iPhone or iPad and discovered the castle throughout the game and picked up lots of facts and useful facts about the history and storytelling. So augmented reality gaming or gaming in general is not a really broad applied science into tourism. So it's basically at the start of it. And so we have to find out how this shift, because the magic cycle is called the game world. So the user is, when he's playing into a magic cycle. And this magic cycle is increasing while we are playing into the real world. So the real world becomes our playground. And so the concept of immersion got destroyed because when we are playing into a real world like in a city, we got lots of external factors which destroy this immersion we normally imagine when we are playing on the desktop PC. So we're having external factors like traffic or traffic noise, passers-by who bump into you and got you out of the gameplay, out of the immersion, and also really crowded areas which all negatively affect the immersion. To create immersive experience is crucial for tourist experience because with augmented reality gaming, we actually have an opportunity to involve actively the tourist into the destination, but we have to find out how we keep up this immersive experience. And the tutorial study is drawing onto these facts and critically explores the application of experience theory and tries to figure out what factors contribute to the immersion, so that the player is not actually feeling always disturbed, what positively affects this experience. And for this, we always involve, we're using a user-centered design and always involve the tourist throughout the game development circle. So we're constantly asking the tourist what kind of requirements he requests what kind of requirement he requests for an augmented reality game. And the study will contribute to identify the factors which lead to an immersion experience in the context of augmented reality gaming, and also provide a conceptual framework how this all could look like in theory. And in practice, it provides guidelines how augmented reality games should be designed and what destination would like to wish. So it's a kind of a mediator and speaking the language of game designers, but also the language of destination marketers. My references, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Jessica, any questions? Yeah. Say who you are,
right.
where you come from, and your perfume.
Right, I'm Andrew Lloyd-Hughes. I'm a tourism consultant and self-catering operator. Perfume, I don't have any, so I wouldn't stand so close if I was you. A very interesting slide as well, with a comparison between iPhone and Android. And it's a general question, really, that I wondered if we do have any statistics you could possibly share with us on not the download of applications by these platforms, but the usage compared with iPhone and Android in tourism applications. Maybe there's something you could share with us? If anyone has that, that'd be really useful.
I don't have any statistics on me, but as we saw that the most keen players are the iPhone users, I would reckon that the download rate in the Apple Store is higher on games than in the Android Store. And I mean, if you leave me your contact details, we can find it out and I send it to you. That's, but I don't really have at the moment some statistics which rate is higher or not.
Okay. Yeah.
It just seems to me that gaming in particular, using augmented reality, will rely very heavily on 4G and that technology in order to be successful.
Not necessarily, yeah. I mean, this game I introduced to you now from TripVenture, this could actually be played without having any internet connection, because you download the app beforehand and it just makes use of your GPS data and compass, that's it.
It's critical that it does not actually, because if you use a lot of data and bandwidth, especially if you are roaming, it will be prohibitive. Absolutely critical that you can download the game in advance, and the dynamic bit of the game is kept to a minimal, absolutely minimal. And there's some other technologies. If you do not want to use data roaming at all, you may use near-field communication or QR codes to engage with that, rather than, you know. Yeah? Thank you very much. Now, thank you, Jessica.